Hi everyone, welcome to my shop. It's 6 feet by 10 feet. Today I'm just going to talk to you about workshop organization and how I have organized this shop. Maybe nothing earth-shattering, but I'm able to get a lot of stuff in here, so maybe you'll learn a little bit. As you enter the shop, you'll see that I have two workbenches. This is the main workbench and an auxiliary workbench here. This is where I do a lot of my club making. So in order to be efficient in the shop, I wanted to have the tools that are closest to me available all the time. At first, I used to depend on drawers and tool chests and things like that. But now I like to have everything on the wall because I can just reach for something, grab a rasp, for example. I'm done with it. Rather than leaving it on the workbench, it doesn't take much more to just put it back onto the wall. So this wall is just 3/4 inch plywood, as you can see here. Right here, 3/4 inch plywood. And it's two long pieces. You can see the seam here. And everything is just nailed to that for the most part. So hammers and things like that. So that's very simple. But you know what? It's one of the most flexible ways of hanging up items rather than getting these fancy proprietary type of things with tracks and everything. This gives you complete flexibility. The other thing are these shelves, which are just made from scrap pieces of wood. And there's no bracket on it because I just use pocket screws and drill it into the wood. And that's plenty. That is not budging anywhere. So I have some of those here. If you want to add a fancy molding, you could do that with your molding planes. So the key is to have the tools that you use the most in front of you, if possible. Obviously, if you're using a table saw, you can't have that right in front of you. But for a hand tool workshop, I like to have my chisels, my files, and rasps all in front of me because that's what I'm using the most. The planes are set behind me in this till. Nothing fancy here. This is the first thing I made, so not the best construction. And my saws are all sitting up here against the wall. And again, more shelving with the same pocket screws underneath. And this thing, I mean, it just is really solid. It does not move. In terms of small parts, I've had various small parts, but this is just a drawers I made for small parts, mostly my golf club making stuff. Now under my workbench, I have these drawers that house my carving gouges. And these are watchmaker cabinets, and you can find these typically on eBay or something like that, or antique stores. This is an auto parts bin that you can use to store screws and other stuff. A small space like mine will require you to store your other larger items underneath. This is stuff that can't really go on the wall, too bulky. So this also provides ballast. I have this swivel stool that allows me to do carving. I also have a little piece of wood that I can put up here and use as a desk for writing as well. The key thing here in this little shop is that you use every bit of space that you have. So I'm up on the rafters even, squirreling away stuff. Yeah, all the way up and down. And here's this little cubby hole that I have where the slop sink is, and just barely enough room to squeeze by for these other parts. In order to save space, I have my dust collector out in the garage. It's actually a good and bad thing. The bad part is that when the dust collector's on, it's sucking out conditioned air. But the good thing is I don't have the noise and I don't have to worry about the dust as much from that dust collector entering the shop. So in terms of safety, it's probably better to have it outside of your workspace. So it just there's a hole down here and it comes through that way. So perhaps nothing earth-shattering, but I've used all the space. I'm very happy with this space. Couple of pointers, I would say. You want to be in a space that you're happy to be in. That definitely encourages you to enjoy woodworking and enjoy the process rather than just the final result. If you enjoy being in that space, the whole process is going to be more enjoyable. More importantly, it's great to have a small shop because I have no more room for new tools or any other tools. If I get a new tool, another one's going to have to come out. If I went to a bigger shop, I would just get more tools. So I'm never going to move out of this, I hope.